the South. Ain't got really feel me. Feel us. East Coast, feel me. Feel us. West Coast, feel me. Say what?
What's up, people? It's Kaya. I am back now with a recap and review today. Break time. It's a Q&A. Last season ended, and then over time I was having these questions, and I was like, I could answer them, but I was like, I don't want to be answering them by myself, so we need somebody else here. So I hit up my girl Nefie. I was like, yo, you want to come do a Q&A for AA? And we had a great time, y'all. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Shout out to Nefie girl for coming on and being a part of this video. I know I be going MIA, and I'm sorry. I've been trying over time to get it. I've been trying to get it together. I feel like I got it together. It's gonna be better going into season 6, y'all. I'm gonna be there. But thank you so much for supporting me, being here on this journey as we go over all things All-American, love all things All-American, and we'll continue to review, recap, answer questions all regarding All-American. Here we go. Let's go. I'm back, guys. Now, seriously though, I'm editing and this is mad long, so we're gonna split into 2 parts. This is gonna be part 1 that has Jaymie, Asher, Coop, Paige. Yep, and then a few other random things mixed in there. And then part 2 will have all things Jordayla, all things Spelivia. So look out for that, and let's get into it right now, officially, right now.
Always wanted to be on a podcast or like be like a guest on someone's like YouTube space or whatever, like YouTube channel. I thought that stuff was really cool. Always, appealed to me. So when you came up with this idea, I was just like, yeah, I'm totally down to do that.
This is my first video back after like, how long? I think it's been like a year.
Yeah.
Almost a year. No. It's been almost a year since the finale of last season. It feels longer than that though.
You have something to celebrate though, don't you?
When I text you, I recently discovered that I hit 1,000. I feel like when you grow up and you're like, oh, I want to be an actress, or I want to do YouTube and stuff like that. You don't think about people actually watching you until you actually start doing it. Facing my thoughts is out there. I don't know. I think it's just more rewarding because it's been 3 years? It's been 3 years now since I've been on here. 2 or 3 years, I think. I don't even know. I lost track. I've taken many breaks in between because life be life, and now you're here for my celebratory video. Thank you, girl. Hey. I don't want to bring down the mood, but I feel like let's start with Patience and Coop, and then we can knock them out the way.
Let's start with them, and then build our way up.
We like them.
Yes.
I don't know about Coop. Sometimes. Do you like Coop?
Okay. See, I have mixed feelings about this girl sometimes.
Same.
And it's like, okay, so on one hand, you can clearly see the relationship that she has with Spencer. And that has been something that has been a foundation for the show since like the very beginning. And I think that's why people are able to gravitate towards her, even in those moments where she really gets on our nerves, even in those moments where we're like, Coop, I just want to smack you sometimes.
Yes.
And I have those moments. But I think that her presence in Spencer's life is still a very big deal to him. And I think that it is very necessary because of the things that they have gone through together throughout their friendship. And it would kind of be, I kind of feel like it would be kind of criminal to not have her in his life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I get why she's there. She can be an annoyance, but I do feel like in most cases, she is coming from, a good place in her heart. Like she's trying to look out for the people that she loves, even if it can be annoying, even if she talks too much. I feel like it does come from a good place. Well, what do you think?
I agree with you, and I feel like she is coming from a good place when it comes to people she loves, but she don't love that many people. You got Spence, you got Paige when she want to love her, and then maybe her mama and her daddy, but the mama and her relationship was kind of a struggle on and off there for a bit. I feel like that list isn't too much for her. I do feel like a lot of what she does revolves around her relationship with Spence because they've been in each other's lives their entire life pretty much. So like I like her at times when you can tell she's trying, and it seems like when things are going well for her is when I like her, because then she's not being a jerk, she's not just looking out for the good of her and Spence. But when things start going wrong in her life, or she sees Spencer struggling, who's been her OG for the longest time, then she start going down. And I'm just like, girl, I don't like you when you be getting down there. And a lot of times she be down there. Let Spencer worry about Spencer. I can understand you caring for him. He be taking it to the extreme, I feel like, a lot of the time. This is his relationship over here, girl. Fall back.
Yeah.
Fall back.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
Let him make his own decisions. I do think that, you know, I don't know what her aim was at that vortex party or whatever. You know, the episode where Grace and Carter. I don't understand why she decided to blast his business about Alicia. I was like, girl, read the room. Why would you say that?
On purpose. Why are you out for Liv? Chill.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
No one's talking about that whatsoever.
I feel like this is like really bad to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I feel like she's the reason why they're not together. Like, I blame her. I don't blame Patience. I blame her.
And she's not the full reason. She is like 90% be out to get them. And I think she be out to get Liv. And I don't know if I mentioned this before. But around the time, like when he was with Layla, and then him and Layla like broke up and everything, and then the Vegas episode happened, and she's like, "Girl, go get your man. Go get your man. Like, I got it here. I'm good. You see?" I feel like she was doing that because she knew Layla wasn't the one. You over here pushing this girl because you want to have your best friend for yourself. Why he can't be happy with the love of his life? Why are you trying to hold him back and put him with this girl that he really don't want to be with? Like, that you know he should not be with. And now he with the love of his life, and they having their issues, and you're like, you see Spencer? That's just keeping them more and more apart because you're instigating. Stop what you doing.
Too much. She just be doing the absolute most, and I'll be wanting to whack her. She needs to get whacked just a couple of times, you know?
Yeah, why can't it be her with Miko? Like, oh, Patience loves you? Oh,
yeah. Like, whack you against the head. I'm gonna whack Patience against the head for loving you because you are a headache.
I love Patience, but they be having her a sucker compared to how she was season 1, season 2. She's a sucker when it comes to Coop.
Yeah, she is, and I think it's because, you know, that was in a sense like maybe, you know, Patience is like first love. Maybe Coop's first love, and you know, they always
like
say
first real relationship.
Exactly. And they always say like the saying goes, like, you never forget your first, right? You know, naturally I feel like they're always going to be drawn to each other, like, even if they give toxic, because they do give toxic. I hate to say it because I do love them, but to an extent, but they do give toxic. But I do feel like, sadly, they're going to end up being endgame.
Oh, most definitely. Like, I'm for them being endgame, but I feel like they just needed the time apart to work on themselves because they were toxic for each other. I also just feel like they weren't giving each other enough time in between to actually miss each other, to actually focus on yourselves. Like, you're not together, but you're still thinking about the other person. Like, go do something. Go work on yourself, you know? So I feel like they just weren't given the adequate amount of time to just be on their own apart from each other before sitting here having a little slip up at the party and, you know, trying to work things out, making her pack her bags, unpack her bags, giving her the run around like, oops, I want to be with you. You know what? Actually, no. It's just so much back and forth. Just take the time to be apart.
Yeah, the show is definitely good for the back and forth. I'll tell you that. I'm rolling my eyes for that one. But they are so good.
Back and forth up though sometimes. Like,
I know.
It just depends on who's giving me the back and forth.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, who's gonna be doing the back and forth this season? But I feel like season 5 did two things. I feel like it set up, like, it broke people up just to bring them back together. And I feel like they definitely did that, you know, with Coop and Patience, because you know, as you see, she was talking to Spencer and she was like, oh yeah, my real issue with the kiss with my girlfriend and my ex-girlfriend is that my ex-girlfriend was kissing my girlfriend, not the other way around. And it should have been, I'm upset because my girlfriend is kissing my ex-girlfriend, but it wasn't that. So when she was like, yeah, I still have feelings for her, I just don't know if she has feelings for me, I said, oh, here we go with this.
Get out of here, girl.
I'm like,
you know she got feelings for you. Stop. Like,
Exactly. Just hope that she's alive to be able to see it, but you know.
Oh, okay. So first one up. Do we think ain't no way they killing this girl, but do you think she's alive? And who do you think found her? If anyone found her. Someone had to have found her.
Okay, so I have a and I hope I'm okay with this because she's kind of shy, but I have a little sister on Instagram, and she made a post on Twitter about how when you there's like a GIF of like patients laying on the floor and like her holding her stomach. She was saying that it looks so unrealistic because she literally saw like the blood bag like moving in and out of a patient. So yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm dead. Like I was completely gagged by that comment. But no, I think that she's alive. 100%. I do think that she's alive. I don't know if you've been on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, but when they started filming, Chelsea was posting on the internet a whole bunch of times, and I feel like she needs to make a statement. Like, I'm alive. I'm not dead, guys. Okay, I'm still here.
Or they're like, can you post these fake behind the scenes and make it seem like you're alive?
Yes. It could be a twist where, you know, she's posting all this stuff and we're like, oh yeah, she's definitely alive, and then boom, we watch the premiere and we find out that she's dead. But I don't think that they're gonna kill her off. No. I don't think
I'm like, and my girl's been talking about how luscious her curls are and stuff recently. Them curls are too luscious for you to just kill them off of this show. I feel like she most definitely is still kicking. Also, just because they're not gonna do that to Coop. Coop is struggling enough as it is. Yeah. We already said how bad she is when she's down. That's just gonna have her like dead. So if her girl is dead, she basically dead too. They're not gonna do that to her. But
I don't think they're gonna do that. She was also Patience was also on the poster that they made for season 2. So I'm like, okay, y'all put her on the poster. There's no way you guys put her on the poster just for her to be dead. Like that makes no sense.
Well, no, because he died later. Because I'm like, they had Papa Billy on the last one, and he still kicked the bucket.
Can we not talk about Billy? He's a sore subject for me. I don't want to talk about him. I can't talk about him. I'm sorry. I can't.
Okay, we're gonna save the parents for another time. Okay, so Patience though, who do you think found Patience?
Well, we know it's not Olivia because she's living her best life in London, as she should. Okay, up in the sky. Okay, Spencer seen her off with a smile. That's how it's supposed to be.
At the airport.
At the airport, so we know it wasn't him. I feel like they're probably going to have either Laura or Coop. Those are my two guesses of who may.
Laura would be good. Laura would be good. I'm like fully convinced it's gonna be Coop. Mama Laura actually is a really good choice though to find her, because then they'll be like, yo, you couldn't even sense that I was over here wounded if it's not Coop, you know. It's like I'm supposed to be your girl in the future, and you couldn't even tell that I was sitting over here on the floor in my own blood to find me, and Mama Laura had to come find me like this. And then you have Coop like rushing to her side in the hospital because Mama Laura done made the phone calls. That'd actually be pretty good. But I'm gonna stick to Coop.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick to Coop. I mean, it is the obvious choice, but I think that's probably what they're gonna lean towards.
Yeah, I think the only reason why I want to stick with Coop too is because of the conversation her and Spence had just had back at the house, and them basically telling each other, go get your girl. So I feel like it'll be her going to go get her girl, and Dad, my girl on the floor. So I think she'll find her. I think she'll find her like that, and then they'll love each other right there off the bat again, because you done found me in a wounded state like this when I'm so damaged and I need help.
I don't want to this is probably gonna sound really bad, but I feel like I have to say it anyway. Honestly, Patience, I feel like she was a little too naive when it came to this Miko character.
Girl, yes.
She missed all the red flags. You know how Alicia missed all the red flags?
No, she didn't miss them. She didn't miss them. She ignored them. How many times Lele tried to tell her? She was informed.
All the red flags, just like our girl Alicia. And Alicia apparently has hitters out here, but she missed all the red flags, all the signs. Like all the signs were there that something was seriously wrong with this girl and that she was eventually going to come after you. And then for her to go on the internet and basically put her on blast on Instagram, I'm like, girl,
that's her. Miko, that's her. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, no, she coming for you.
Oh my gosh, that like set up her demise one way or another. And you know they can't end the season without something traumatic happening because that's just what they do. So
one time of this girl acting kind of crazy, okay, you're like, I'll give her another chance. Second time, it's like, something seems a little odd. But time and time again, you see this girl coming after you, like the whole phone situation thing. I don't know who leaves their stuff behind with a psycho person nearby that you know is crazy to go do something. Oh, let me go take this photo real quick. I'll be right back with my stuff, but I'm gonna leave it with you. You know, came after me so many times before. Like, make it make sense, my guy. And how many times Layla got to tell you about this girl and that she's not just a regular cray cray? Like, she's like, no, she's to the extreme, and still you're just letting her in and in again. Opening the door, and did they have a peephole? Was there a peephole?
Definitely was a peephole, and guess what? Patience missed it because she beeline straight to the door, opened it, was like, oh my gosh, Miko, what are you doing here?
I shouldn't have even been able to get out. Oh my gosh, Miko. Should have just went to the kitchen, took a knife herself, and just stabbed herself because she did that to herself.
She really did.
Like, nah, girl, you get no sympathy from me on that one.
Me neither. I don't have any. I tried to find it at the end of the season. I really tried, but it's not there.
Do you think we've seen the last of Miko and Sky? We're gonna put them together, actually. Miko and Sky, when in regards to Patience and Coop.
I don't think we've seen. I feel like there's a chance that Miko could reappear. I think that maybe Sky could reappear too, but I think that relationship with her and Coop is pretty much dead at this point. But I do think that, you know, the season 6 could set up for her to possibly come back.
For Sky?
No, Miko. I think that
Miko?
she could make an appearance.
I feel like the only reason we'll see Miko will be her trying to apologize and Layla having her deal with like the lawyers and stuff because, you know, Patience ain't got the money for it, the funds. I think it's gonna be Layla dealing with Miko and like taking her to court and getting like a proper restraining order against her. I feel like she had one before though. Yeah, she did. And she just ignored it. So she's gonna have to take further steps and get her locked up or something because she didn't stab this girl. So ain't no way she's gonna get away with that. So I think that's the only reason why we'll see her is her dealing with the aftermath of stabbing Patience. And then after like an episode, maybe 2, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably be like an episode because we can wrap that up. Then she'll be out. Sky, I think if we ever see Sky again, it'll be like one episode of Nana Marita wanting to see Coop, and she go to see her, and Sky gonna be like, and she'll be like, oh no, I can't. Patience is waiting outside for me because they're gonna be back together at that point.
At that point.
But other than that, Sky is gone because that relationship, it was never fully like solidified. So there's no reason for her to be there.
She was always, I felt like Coop had one foot in the relationship and one foot out.
Yes. Was the foot all the way in? I feel like the foot was like, she had like 2 toes.
Yeah, like 2 toes.
With Coop though, okay, so we don't have Sky. We have her girl over here wounded and everything. So things are up in the air for her. Yeah. Do you think she's still going the lawyer route? Or do you think she's going to try to track her way back to being a rapper? I'm going to rap route. I'm going to rap.
I don't think so. Hey, I really think that she's going to stick this out. And I think, like, I mean, honestly, she might end up teaming up with Mama Laura and doing something really, really great for the community. I see her doing something like that. I think that season 4 definitely put like a stamp in like her musical career, her career as like a, you know, as a musician. But like, I feel like that'll probably still be something that's like a part of her journey, but I don't see her going back to it. So I think that she's gonna stick to the lawyer stuff, honestly.
I like the lawyer stuff in the beginning because I was like, oh, you could tell she'd been studying because some of the stuff she was saying,
yeah,
no knock warrants are illegal. I was like, okay, girl, like that had me shook for a second. I said she knows her stuff a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like she's doing this because she didn't have music. Like she just had to find something else. And she found the first thing she could really hook into and get into, and Mama Laura was an easier way for her to get into, law. So I think that's the main thing. I can see her following through with it because like it grows on her, and I can see how she's engaged in the class and everything with this teacher and stuff. But at the same time, I also feel like this was more of a segue for Mama Laura's transition into a different view on law and, teaching, because she needs a change after the guy who we won't mention, after losing him. I feel like with Coop, music, I think is just because it's so rooted in her and because she was so good at it. You see her going back to it because it's something that she loves. Two, it's something that she can do with her love when they get back together. And she can make a great career out of it, especially if it's her with Layla backing her and then her girl over here supporting her and stuff. I think, and she'll be happy doing it. So if she can get it back, but them lungs is the only thing that's a little iffy for me because they don't seem like they're trying to come back.
I personally don't think it's gonna happen. Can she even still rap is the question for me. I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I doubt it.
The lyrics, she could come through with the lyrics, but as far as getting the lyrics out, might be a struggle. Maybe she could be like a writer or something. Who knows on the side of law? I could see that. A ghostwriter or something.
Maybe she could. Maybe she could do the ghostwriting on the side and then, be a lawyer full time.
Yeah. Like that artist that they briefly gave us from Layla.
Not briefly.
But even Coop was like, it's because these are my lyrics. She didn't live this stuff. So I feel like if she writes for people, then that'll be great for her because it's still a way for her to express herself musically. And then she can still do the law stuff. That actually be really cool.
That's honestly like right up her alley. So I mean, if they do decide to do something like that for her, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
She could probably even write for Patience, or have some vocal lyrics or something.
Patience a song.
Yeah, she should write for Patience though, because Patience lyrics a lot of the times they don't be hitting. Yeah. Like give us some lyrics.
Banana.
So irritated.
Oh man.
Girls, where's the words?
There were no words to be. Oh my gosh, we're having way too much fun. We're having way too much fun talking about these two.
Okay, we're gonna do Asher and Jaymie. Here's my thing. So I didn't read the synopsis, but the trailers came out, so I watched the trailers. I saw that baby.
Yeah, me too. Look,
I had to X out part of the question because I was like, do you think Jaymie's gonna have the baby?
She definitely had the baby. So that's cut. That's cut. Like we know she's the baby.
Here's the next part of it though that was attached to it because it was like, do you think she's gonna have the baby? And if she does have the baby, do you see her being affected medically after having the baby, like having complications with her illness?
Oh, with AA, it's just like hard to tell with these things because you just like you watch an episode, you're like, okay, which direction are you gonna go? So I think that because she had the baby, I think that there is a possibility for her medical condition to come back up as like an issue as she's also dealing with, the pressures of being a mother for the first time, and then, Asher being a father for the first time on top of him coaching and, basically like looking towards the future. So I definitely think that it'll be a struggle, but I don't think that they'll I'm hoping that if they do bring up her medical condition, that it doesn't get dragged out because some of these storylines get dragged out a lot. And I just feel like with us having 13 episodes, there's just so many things that they just cannot drag for a whole season. You know what I mean? I think that if they do decide to kind of have her struggle a little bit with her medical condition, I think that it should be something that they cover in one episode. I that's what I'm hoping for. Because I'm like, okay, we got 13 episodes. We don't have time to waste on these
Right?
unnecessary storylines. Like, let's not waste any time here. Let's not
It's
waste
also
any.
the fact that there's so many people to cover in 13 episodes.
I was a little disappointed, but then I was like, okay, maybe with 13 episodes, they can get to the stuff that matters, the stuff that we want.
The meat.
Yes, get to the meat of the show. Let's get back to
Yeah.
that. Let's get to the NFL. Let's figure out where people are going future wise. Like, let's figure that out. Let's get these unnecessary storylines out of the way. I think that 13 episodes will definitely challenge the writers to get to, the stuff that people want to see. And so I'm hoping with this new number count that they'll be able to do that and like give us what we want to see.
For that reason, they're not going to drag Asher and Jaymie's like storyline. I think that's going to be with the case of everyone that's there, especially because JJ's not here anymore. So that's one less person we gotta fill story with. Jaymie, I think when it comes to her sickness, it's gonna affect her more right after giving birth, just because like that's gonna take a toll on her body giving birth. And it was already hard enough for her before that. So I think if anything, we'll see her struggle for a couple of episodes being just adjusting to being a mom and having to deal with your sickness and everything. And who knows if she had a C-section or like gave birth naturally. So depending on which one, Asher's probably going to have to be a lot more hands-on when it comes to taking care of the baby for her. So I think if we see her like struggle a bit with her medical issues over a course of a few episodes, I like it that way, just because we'll see the progression of her and Asher fully adjusting to being parent and having to deal with her sickness on the side, as well as taking care of a baby. Here's the big question with them, though. Do we think that their conversation briefly from last season of marriage is going to affect their relationship this season here with their different views on marriage? Because it's clear that Jaymie doesn't fully support marriage because of, her history with it. And Asher, he's for marriage.
I think that could definitely cause a rift. And with the nature of the show, like, okay, All American is a drama, so everything can't be rainbows and lollipops. Everything can't be good all the time. They're definitely going to be facing some challenges. I think that the conversation of marriage is definitely going to come back up for them, because obviously, like, they're on two different sides of it. Jaymie is more so like, oh, I don't think I want to get married, and Asher is actually for it. He's like, no, like, I actually do see myself marrying you. So I don't think that she would be against marrying him, because obviously she loves him. But I think maybe like the constitution of it and like what marriage represents, I think that's what she's really against. Not necessarily that she wouldn't end up marrying Asher.
I feel the same. I feel like for their relationship, it's just going to take one more of seeing couples successful around her. But then at the same time, Asher fully showing her that he's truly in it. You know, like, yeah, we have this baby, but I don't want that to be the only reason you're with me. Yeah, I have this sickness, but I don't want that to be the only reason that you're trying to stick around with me and marry me, because you feel obligated to do these things. But I honestly feel like he truly loves her. Like, he wants to be with her. He could see himself marrying her. And I think it's more so just getting her to see that and believe that. And I think for her, it's her getting herself to see that and believe that from him. So I don't see her saying no down the line. If he asks her right now, she most definitely is saying no. Ain't no way she's going for marriage.
Yeah, she's definitely saying no if he decides
like,
to pop
no.
the question.
But I see, like, by the end of this season, them like getting engaged, hopefully, or even if it's not by the end of this, like early next season, if we get another one, please give me another one. I can't. If this show goes, I'm broken, y'all. I'm broken.
To be honest with you, Kaya, I think that we're shoo-in for a 7th season. I think we're definitely getting another season.
I mean, you only gave us 13 this season here, so you have to give us a 7th season so we can see their future. Take me to the future. Don't do this and be like, oh, this is what's happening in the future. No, I want to go see it myself.
I agree. But I mean, and I talk about this whenever I do talk about AA. I mean, it has its pros and its cons, okay? And I think that one of the things that they have that is really going for themselves is how popular it is on the network. All American kind of keeps the lights on. Ain't gonna lie. Kind of keep the lights on because the following with Netflix, social media, I just think that like it's really big and the audience is like huge. And we're talking about a show that almost got canceled after the first season, like because they weren't supposed to come back. And I think that that's one thing that people fail to realize when they talk about, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's been like conversations about like All American Homecoming and All American, people like basically like pitting the shows against each other. But I think what people need to really understand is like we're talking about a show that was supposed to be canceled the first season, and we're in season 6. Like that's huge. That's a huge accomplishment in itself, let alone for it to be a drama TV show with a Black ensemble cast. Like the cast is absolutely great. It's mainly a Black cast. That's why I said like it's a Black ensemble cast. And then you also have Black writers. You know, Adrian Dukes, he's a big one. He just got re-upped to I think he's like a producing director or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what his new title is, but he got, you know, he's moving up in the world, which is great. But I think that when you look at All American, then you also look at All American Homecoming, like you see a representation of television that is not always present, you know? And I think that, you know, people should take that into consideration when they're trying to pit these two shows against each other. And I've heard some pretty outlandish things. But what I will say is that if it hadn't been for AA, there would be no All American Homecoming. There would have been no spinoff if it hadn't been for AA. So I think that, you know, people should see the positives in both of that and kind of like run with it. We couldn't have, you know, lasted for 6 seasons. We could have been one and done. And here we are in season 6. Fan base is huge, like really huge. And so that's what leads me to believe that I think that we're definitely getting another season. Like I think it's pretty set in stone for another season.
Yeah, I just would not accept anything less than another season. So don't do it to me, CW. But I can see it. Like I don't get pitting them against each other. Mostly just because they're two completely different shows. Like they're telling two completely different stories, two completely different casts. They're not. The only real similarity is Simone. Like that's it. That's the only connection. If you take Simone out of the picture, yeah, it's talking about college and things like that. But like All American started from high school. Yeah. Homecoming is starting from them already being in college. They're at an HBCU. Like it's so many different things going on in each that I personally wouldn't pit them against each other because like each show is great in its own way because it tells two completely different stories. What's the main thing that sells me on Homecoming? Because I feel like so many people are just like, I'm not feeling Homecoming.
I'm guilty of that.
What, Homecoming? You not feeling Homecoming?
No, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that, and I could be honest and say that season 1, I did watch season 1. I did think the season 1 was cool. I did not watch season 2. I heard like there's so many spoilers happening on Twitter, and it's really hard to not see a spoiler. They're everywhere, especially the day that an episode airs. You're gonna see a whole bunch of spoilers, and I just could not get into season 2. I don't know what it was. And the funny thing is like I brought a season pass of it on Prime Video so I could catch up and watch like season 2. And I think I watched maybe like 2 or 3 episodes on season 2. And I don't know what it was. I was just like, it just didn't, when something doesn't hit for me, it's just really hard for me to like stick to it. And I think that, you know, AA having a spinoff is still a great accomplishment in itself. But I am just one of those people where I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it.
Like sometimes it'll take me a couple of episodes to watch, and then like I'll start an episode. I'm like, I'm not feeling this, and then I'll cut it off. and I'll try to go back to it like a week or so later. I will say for Homecoming, like season 1 was so good, and I think it was because it was like out the gate. The story was moving. It was really focused on the HBCU aspect and everything, and just building up the characters. I think season 2 started out a lot slower with the story of it, so it was a little bit hard for me to get into season 2 in the beginning. So when I got to 3, I was like, all right, I'm into it, because the story like started to pick up. You were seeing where they were going for the season and everything. But I think it just took a little bit longer to get into it. Also because it kind of changed focus a bit in the second season from season 1, so it didn't have that same like fresh HBCU feel to it. And also they just had Keisha moping non-stop season 2. Her and this girl, what's her name? Little tennis girl.
I haven't watched the season, so I couldn't tell you.
Whoever Camille plays.
Thea?
Thea, yes.
Okay.
Thea, I was like, between you, Keish, y'all working my nerves. They were working me. And then I got Lando, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling Lando. Like, I like him a lot. I like Damon, so that was great.
Lando and Simone, or as people would say on Twitter, Lamone. That is a pairing that I am behind. I can get behind that. It's a hot pairing, okay?
Listen, I don't know how we got to Homecoming, but listen, I was all for Damone. I still am for Damone, because I'm like, if the possibility is there, I'm for it, because they have chemistry. I like it. But something about Lando being so playful, and just like, he can be playful but serious at the same time. Him and Simone have chemistry. I can get behind, what are they called?
Lamone
me all the way too, because I can get behind that. Like, I like them too. So I would definitely ship them, because I just love him as an individual and how they made his character. I think his character is one of my favorites on there.
Yeah, I did too. And I guess you guys, whoever watches All American Homecoming is going to be seeing a lot more of Lando, because Martin got he's now a series regular. Definitely agree with you. The chemistry between those two is definitely eats. I seen a scene of them on Twitter, and I was like, ooh.
Oh my gosh! See, you gotta watch the next season.
Yeah, I was shook. I seen that. I said, woo. Myself a little bit with that one. I was like, okay, they're cute. That's something I could get behind. I could definitely get behind.
He's not afraid like to speak his mind.
I have to say, I am behind Lamone, and I have a couple of mutuals on my Twitter that are Lamones too. But they are also Jamones at heart. And I think I will always be a Jamone at heart. But
excuse me?
Yeah. I had to say that.
Q&A done. Q&A done. What in the world? Girl, okay.
Okay, we gonna move on. But I
don't mind it. I'm just joking. Was this about Jamone?
I think because that I think on AA, I personally feel like that was probably the only relationship that I was able to gravitate towards when it came to Jordan. And the reason why I say that is because Jordan is a very aggravating character to root. It's hard to root for him. And I think I rooted for him the most when he was with Simone, because she did help him in a lot of ways. Because season 1, he was trash. He was a trash character, and I say that. He had a lot of work. He had a lot of stuff going for himself. I do think that in every character there's room to grow, but I feel like he probably had a lot more work compared to all of the other characters. And also aside from Asher, because he's grown a whole lot since like season 1 for sure. Him and Jordan are like right up there with each other. But I think that his time with Simone definitely showed me the better sides of who Jordan was. And she kind of like, in my opinion, brought that out more compared to like the other situationships, because I don't call those other relationships he was in season 1, between season 1, season 2, and season 3. I don't call those relationships. I think those were just situationships, sort of like a coping mechanism for whatever it was that he was going through, mentally wise. But I think that, me personally, he was never my favorite character, and seeing that relationship play out, it definitely had him growing on me just a little bit, because we got to see a different side of him when he was with Simone. So I think that kind of like pertains to like why I probably will always be a Jamone, together or not together. But again, Lamone is hot. So hey, if they decide to wrap that up as the end game, hey, I'd be all for it.
We're not just going to jump over Jamone really quickly, because speaking on Jamone, let me ask you this.
Wait on me.
Jor was a struggle first season. We all know this. Like he has grown a lot. And he definitely wasn't my favorite character ever, pretty much, until most recently. Like, he's been upping the list compared to other people.
Right.
But when it comes to Jamone, do you feel like the growth that he experienced when being with Simone was because of Simone, or was it because of the lie that she basically put on him of her being pregnant? So he basically had to step up to the plate to be a father for this baby that, wasn't really his kid.
Right. That's a very complex question. Okay. I think that it did start out that way, because he felt like, okay, this is something that I've never had to face before. So in a sense, if a woman comes to you and says, hey, I'm having your baby, I'm pregnant, you have no choice but to step up. You have no choice but to grow up. Okay.
I mean, some people don't do it though.
A lot of people that don't do it. Okay. There is a lot of people that don't do it, but he happened to be the exception. And I think that he was more so scared because, he's still a teenager. She's still a teenager. Oh my God, like, I'm going to be a father. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I think that it did start off that way, and it did put like a sour start on their relationship. And I think that anyone that ships Jamone or used to ship Jamone could attest to that. And even I can attest to that. But I think that the more that they were able to get to know each other, that's when you got to really see the relationship develop, after she was able to scratch off like, okay, you're not the father. This is why I did it. I know I was wrong, and he had his moment where he was still, upset because of course she did lie. Right. But I feel like after they were able to move beyond that, that's when you started to see them, like specifically in season 2, that's when you started to see them like really get to know each other, and you started to see like his care for her grow into something more. But I think that it had to build up, and I think that's why they set it in stone that way. Okay, like, yeah, I'm the father. Oh, psych, I'm not the father. And then seeing, putting Jordan essentially through his emotions with that, and just seeing how that initially affected him. But as we were able to see, like, even though he wasn't the father, he still decided to be there for her, even through that. And I think by him being there for her as just a friend, it allowed the relationship to grow into something a little bit more. And I think that, that relationship in itself, like, had him teaching, kind of like matured him up a little bit. Like, it was a hurtful situation for him to be placed in, to be told that, like, you're going to be a father and then find out that the kid is not yours. So of course there's going to be hurt attached to that. But I think that ultimately it did help him grow as an individual in a few ways. So yeah, does that answer your question? I don't know if I answered the question right.
Yes. See, but I'm going to go for that too, because I feel like it was basically the lie that triggered him making that shift into maturing more. Because before Simone, like, we saw, even when he met Simone at the time, like when she first came to him, we saw him at this party, like he's still around all these girls and everything, like he was still the party boy, not really caring, because he had the protection of his mom and dad. He had the protection of growing up in Beverly Hills and things like that. So I feel like he didn't really have to deal with the consequences of his actions a lot of the times, and he was just do whatever I want, carefree. But I feel like when it came to Simone telling him, like, oh, you're the father of this child, like, I think that's what triggered him. Well, I really have to step up here and take care of someone other than myself and be there to support someone other than myself, not just my child, but the mother of my child, because she doesn't have the best home life and things like that. Like, I am not giving that to Simone. She is not the reason for this man making these changes. Her lying to him, okay, that kind of triggered him in a sense. And yeah, he still struggled along the way, but I think that's what prompted him to start to make these changes and progress towards just becoming a better person. I feel like when you experience something where someone tells you you're about to have a child,
Right.
it's hard to like go back from that and to your old ways completely. So I think that's where we started to see the shift. And she just so happened to be that person once that shift happened, and once it came out that he wasn't the dad, that he did want to continue a relationship with her and to take that step forward. But I feel like at the same time, her telling him that lie, it triggered him having to mature more, but it also showed that she needed to mature herself as well, because we also heard from her, she said growing up she was baby Serena. Like
yeah, I like your take on it. Yeah.
I feel like she had so much pressure on her growing up as a kid, and probably didn't have like the best relationship personally with her parents. Like, yeah, they supported her career, things like that, but that's also why her mom was so hard on her. Like, once she found out everything that was going on with her, it was just all this pressure of her growing up, to where that's a part of the reason why she was that way when it came to meeting Jordan. And you found someone who grew up in a great family, and they have this support system that, okay, they support him, so they must be able to support me and this baby, if it is his baby, if I tell them that it's his baby, because she didn't always have that. So I think it just showed a lot, in a lot of ways, that she needed to grow more. And then at the same time, it was pushing him to grow, because now he had the same thing thrown on him that he wasn't expecting,
Makes sense. But I think what you're saying is like you feel like it started off with a lie, but that lie that initially Simone told him made him, basically was like the push that he needed for him to realize, okay, like it's time for me to grow up, mature a little bit. And then initially, while indirectly doing that also led her to the same, having the same, conclusion of like, okay, I need to mature, I need to grow up a little bit more too. So I definitely, I like the way you worded that. It actually makes sense. And I think that like eventually they were able to like help each other grow. It definitely did start off from that. I would agree.
They were that in between relationship. I do not acknowledge that wedding. No, the wedding that never happened. I do not acknowledge it. But they were the in between of where they both needed to be at that time to get to the people they needed to be with, because they weren't the people for each other. Just like they were like at the right time for each other, for them to mature where they needed to going forward, so they can be right for the people that they end up with now.
Yeah.
Since we don't have Simone anymore, we also don't. No shade. That's no shade.
Are you sure? I'm just kidding.
No shade. Since Simone is thriving on Homecoming on her own show, but we don't have her on AA anymore. We also don't have JJ apparently. So, how do we think JJ is getting written out of this show? And also, do you think they're going to replace him in a sense of bringing back an old character and pushing them up more, someone like Chris or Darnell? Or do you think they're just going to leave it as it is for the group? Do you want to hear what I think, or do you want to?
You can go first. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I want to hear your take first.
Mine are very brief. I feel like it's just going to go back to his drinking problem and him with his mental issues of dealing with like his family history and things, and that he was never like, they tried to help him last season, and we got Liv to come in and really give him that talk to where he fully accepted it seemed at the time. But I think he's gonna relapse back from that and realize that he does need more help than what the Vortex can provide for him. So they're just gonna write him out that way. Like, my man's relapses and he's really struggling. He can't, especially with everyone else moving forward so much in their lives. Asher having a baby, Jordan getting engaged and live away, but knowing that her and Spencer now back together, and that's going to lead somewhere. So I think just having that pressure of you're still stagnant, like you're still in this same spot and you're struggling as much as you are, is going to be too much for him to deal with in that house, especially living with all of them. So he's not going to be able to handle it, going back to his old ways, partying, drinking, and everything. So he's going to be having to go away and deal with that. And it's just going to be a permanent write-off. I don't personally feel like they're going to bring someone back. It would be cool if they did. Maybe like Chris. Chris would be nice to see. I also feel like the Vortex is nicer with just like a smaller group, especially now that we don't got Jaymie. So y'all already added more people to it. So I think if we could just keep it as it is. Oh, it's so much easier saying that word now that I haven't heard it in so long. I think we're just going to keep them like as they are, and they're not going to like change him out with someone else.
I definitely think that you're in the right ballpark with them. That's kind of what I was thinking too. I think that they are probably, because I think that like that would be the thing that would make the most sense for them to do as far as like writing him off, because we already know he's not coming back. So I think that they will do something with, you know, with his addiction storyline, maybe in a sense of like, oh, they might mention him in an episode and be like, oh, he relapsed, he's in rehab and somewhere far away, or, you know, something along those lines. And I feel like maybe either Asher or Jordan might be the one to break that news to everybody. But I think that would be like the best way for them to write him off, because I don't think that they would like necessarily, like, I don't think it would be necessary for them to be like, oh, he died, because then we have
too many deaths.
It's too many deaths.
Much trauma.
We really don't. I really don't feel like that would be necessary. So I feel like the best way to write him off would just be like, oh, you know, he's still struggling and he went to rehab, and the rehab is like far away from, you know, from Cali. So obviously,
go to New York.
Yeah, he's like in rehab in New York or something.
Yes.
Whatever destination they choose, it'll be far enough away from, you know, LA and where everyone else is.
Because they can't go visit that easily.
Exactly. So I think that would make the most sense, in my opinion. If they were, I gotta say, like, if they were to bring back any characters, and I don't think that they will, but if they were to bring anyone back, I would want them to bring back Darnell.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Kia. Like, we got a glimpse of Kia last season. I want Kia.
Two. Darnell and Kia. Actually, both of them can come back. I would love to have Asia back in AA permanently. That would be so great. Because her and Liv's relationship, I absolutely love it. I think that's like one of the relationships, like friendship wise, that I really enjoyed seeing. Seeing that bond, especially considering the fact that Kia is Spencer's ex-girlfriend, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also just because they're both dancers. Like, when they teased us talking about, oh yeah, we're helping out at the community center back in Crenshaw, and I was like, so when are we going to see these dances that they're teaching to the kids and stuff? And we never got it. That little tease last season, no, I need more.
That was disappointing. I really wish we would have got some footage of seeing that, because that would have been really great. Because we know how good, because we know Sam is a dancer. You know, she's really good at it.
Great
really
dancer.
Good. So that's like right up her alley, you know?
Yes. I'm like, come on. I don't mind. 13 episodes, you can give me a couple with them dancing. I don't mind you taking up that time with them dancing.
like two. Couple is two. Like, I'm good with 2 episodes of that.
Yeah.
I think if they were gonna bring anyone back, it probably, like, the easiest choice would probably be Kia. And then the second choice would probably be Darnell.
Yeah, I can see that. That'd be cool.
Him and Spencer's relationship has grown on me.
Yeah, especially from where it started to where they're at now.
It was really nice to see him in Spencer's brief episode. I think that was a really great move for him to come back and be part of, like, his village when he finally had his breakdown about Billy passing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was so full circle for both of their characters.
I feel like it worked too, just because he already experienced that with Corey's death, and Darnell was there for that because that was basically a dad to him too. So I think going through that together, it was smart to bring him back for this year, because this is Spencer's like second dad here. Well, technically like his first dad, but like
Speak the truth, girl. Speak the truth.
this is real daddy right here. Like, yo, he lost his other dad that that helped him, and he helped birthed him. But this is his real daddy, the one that fully supported him and got him to where he at right now. So I gotta be there because I know this one really hurting him. Like that's how Darnell was.
I think everyone can attest to the fact that Billy was Spencer's real father.
Yes,
in all senses of the word. 100%.
Like nothing against Corey. We like Corey, but Corey just
I don't agree with that.
We gotta speak nice on the dead.
No. I mean, rest in peace. Rest in peace to his soul. I hope he sleeps gracefully. I really don't like the fact. I don't like the way that they killed him off, because just when Spencer was getting to know his father, boom, he dies. Like I thought they just did my baby so wrong. They did him so wrong. I just did not like
I'll say I like Corey because Corey was trying towards the end. Like before he died, he actually was trying and wanted to be there in their lives and everything. From the moment that they found him back, like I feel like he actually tried to be a part of him and Dylan's life, although a little bit of time that he wasn't trying to claim Dylan. But
some of his efforts were a little bit questionable, just a little bit.
Yeah, they were, Corey. But you know what? He dead now, so we gotta give him respect just for trying to be there for his kids. Also, I really appreciated the letters that he wrote to Spencer too. So I like that he was like writing those, and that's something that Spencer can hold on to now up until this point. But at the end of the day, we know Billy his real daddy.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Corey, I tried, but you weren't the real daddy that he needed. So